Sofaygo, known to some as a more evolved Lil Uzi Vert, and the one who actually technically popularized the whole genre of rage with the song Off the Map. Sofaygo recently just dropped a brand new project, and this is just right before him having so many different breakout tracks, including Knock Knock, Off the Map, Every Day, and Chrome. And man, Sofaygo is absolutely insane, man. And recently Sofaygo just dropped a highly anticipated project, and that project is called Pink Heartz. And right before that, he dropped a project called Before Pink. And Before Pink was just like a little sprinkle of what is to come for the brand new Sofaygo project. And man, I'm gonna pretty much be breaking down this whole brand new Sofaygo project. So let me know in the comments if you guys are super stoked for this, and remember to like this video and subscribe. So man, these are my first thoughts of the brand new album Pink Heartz by Sofaygo. And let me just start off by saying, man, it's a beautiful piece of work. It's pretty much just showing Sofaygo just like he can potentially be a big mainstream rapper. He's alongside Sheck West, Don Toliver, Travis Scott, and the label Cactus Jack on Travis Scott's label. The one thing I'll say right off the bat that I'm a little bit disappointed on is there's only one Cactus Jack feature, and that's Don Toliver. And Don Toliver is pretty fire, the track is pretty fire, don't get me wrong, but why didn't Travis Scott just, give him a little alley-oop and give him a feature? But this is kind of the reason why I think he did it. I don't necessarily agree with it, but I think Sofaygo wants to be known by himself, not be known by getting put on by Travis Scott. I'm blowing up from Travis Scott. So I think that's a humongous reason why Travis Scott wasn't on the project, but I definitely would have liked Travis Scott on the project, man. Just get his sales up and kind of boost him a little bit, because this project sounded very melodic and beautiful. Not much like typical rapping on there. Definitely more of kind of like an R&B melodic rap album with just like heavy reverb in the background. You know what I mean? Just kind of like almost some Black vibes, or even just pretty much Travis Scott, but just like more melodic with more pockets, if you know what I'm saying. All right, let's talk about some of the standout tracks on Pink Heartz by Sofaygo. So for the first one I'm gonna talk about is a song called Hell Yeah, which was originally dropped as a single when Sofaygo kind of dropped like a 4-pack of singles right before the album. And it kind of dropped maybe like 2.5 weeks before the album actually dropped. And Hell Yeah was one of them for sure, another one, and Blitz, you know what I mean? But Hell Yeah is pretty much like kind of that rage sound, rage. Because Rage was from Off the Map, and he pretty much started the whole Rage sound, like I said earlier in this video. But Hell Yeah is definitely like a humongous banger, and it was pretty much sponsored by Nike with like a commercial with LeBron and the sun just dunking, you know what I mean? It was pretty fire. But yeah, Hell Yeah is just a really fire track, just sonically slaps, just bumps in the whip, you know what I mean? And a beautiful feature from one of the underground legends signed to Opium, Playboy Carti's label, Ken Carson, with just a fire torpedo type of verse. And Ken Carson just has that kind of wild, just kind of party vibes, and he just has like a wild cadence and pocket, especially in the song too. And Hell Yeah is just super catchy, man. I think it's beautiful, produced, and definitely a humongous standout. And it sounded really good to have the track early on in the track list, man. Another standout is the song Blitz, which was also like a single, like I was just saying, but Blitz is almost like a melodic, just kind of him melodically singing. How I vision the song is just him kind of just flowing his voice, going upstairs, like up the stairs with pockets, you know what I mean? That's just how beautiful the vocals and just the pocket use flowing in it, with a nice sonically beautiful kind of reverb driven instrumental in the background. And Sofaygo is pretty much just singing his heart out with those pockets, and I think it's absolutely a beautiful track, you know what I mean? And it's very psychedelic driven, you know what I mean? And very Travis Scott influence. And this one's a humongous standout to me, because I think this is just really showing the Sofaygo sound and just even his potential in his future projects, if you know what I'm saying. So definitely check out that track, because I think it's a humongous standout, and it was a single, like I was saying. So you never know, Travis Scott could actually push this song specifically, and I think he maybe should. But I want to go back to the track list and look at the song Stay Awake featuring Lil Uzi Vert. And let me just say one thing first about Lil Uzi Vert. I think Lil Uzi Vert is definitely godfather of this whole melodic, psychedelic trap sound. And one thing I want to say, I think Sofaygo is technically a more evolved Lil Uzi Vert. You know what I mean? He's very inspired by him. But what I mean by more evolved, I think Sofaygo kind of really goes into his vocals a little bit more and sometimes raps in a little bit more tighter pockets than Lil Uzi Vert. And Lil Uzi Vert happens to be on this track, Stay Awake. But I think, my personal opinion, I don't know if they just plan this out when they're in the studio, but I'm gonna be real with you. I think Sofaygo absolutely destroyed Lil Uzi Vert on this track. Yes, Lil Uzi Vert obviously held his own, but if we're talking about just technical-wise and just singing in pockets, Sofaygo absolutely destroyed Lil Uzi Vert. And let me tell you one thing, Lil Uzi Vert's my favorite rapper of all time, but Sofaygo did a beautiful job of just really stacking up his vocals in between those pockets just beautifully, with a beautifully, just sonically, psychedelic driven instrumental in the background, and it was so fire, man. And you know how I was talking about maybe they should push Blitz as like a main single? I think they should shoot a video for the song Stay Awake with Lil Uzi Vert, because I think this one has chart potential. And by chart potential, I mean it could stay on the billboards for good. And I really hope it does, because I think this track is so fire, man. And you know how I was saying Sofaygo obviously destroyed Lil Uzi Vert? Let me just say one thing. I think Lil Uzi Vert complimented the track for Sofaygo super well. They almost show Sofaygo's star power. It was almost like Lil Uzi Vert was kind of being like, yo, you got this. Like, you're my son, you got this. I'm gonna give you time to just really float on this beat, and I'll just kind of almost just compliment the song. And that's pretty much what it was. And Stay Awake is definitely gonna be a cult classic to the underground and to the mainstream. Like, Lil Uzi Vert is the father, Sofaygo is the son.
I'm Sofaygo right now. While he chilling, I'm chill. Sofaygo, you are the one for me. I know that you see me through the cracks in your door.
But yeah, definitely check out this track, Stay Awake, because it is beautiful, man. Another standout on this project is Me Too. And let me just tell you, Me Too sounds like Sofaygo almost interpreting Travis Scott, you know what I mean? Like, he's really complimenting Travis Scott's sound, but in more of a Sofaygo way. And I think this almost sounds like Travis Scott should be featured on the song. Don Toliver too. I know Don Toliver is on another track with Sofaygo, but this just really shows Sofaygo can really do the Travis Scott sound well. And the track Me Too is very beautiful. Very mainstream sounding track. And by mainstream sounding track, like it just said, a very Travis Scott sounding track. You know what I mean? The auto-tune complements his voice just very well, and I think Me Too is definitely a top tier track. Some people may think it's a little bit boring just because it's a very basic Travis Scott sounding track, but I happen to enjoy it. I only listened to this project twice already, but I enjoy it. So Me Too is definitely a standout on this track list. Now this track, Going Back, is a humongous standout on Sofaygo's Pink Heartz, man. And this is almost like what I think fans want Sofaygo to sound like. It kind of sounds like the old Sofaygo, man. And man, let me just say one thing. The beat definitely slaps. And when I mean slap, it bumps in the whip, man. This is like the type of music you listen to when you're shooting some hoops, warming up before a basketball game, you know what I mean? I just imagine LeBron James, LeBron, dunking through his legs and slam dunking. That's how fire this track is, Going Back. And even just the backing vocals and the different layers Sofaygo is using in this track is so fire, man. The energy's way up there, and I think this one is definitely one of my personal favorites. Definitely a standout to the average listener, because it's just, man, those 808s in the background definitely slap, man, and I definitely enjoy it. And I think you'll definitely enjoy it too. But just the layering on the vocals at the end of his vocals, at the end of his bars and stuff like that, it's just super hard, man. And this is 100% a standout. Going Back, man, definitely. Now the track, another one by Sofaygo, kind of has a play on with DJ Khaled. And when I saw the track list of the whole album, Pink Heartz, I thought this one should have had DJ Khaled on it. but I really didn't actually. But another one was actually so beautiful. By beautiful, I mean just the hook was so infectious and just catchy. And you know, just even the instrumental in the background and just the whole vibe and energy of the track kind of reminds me, or at least it should be, kind of like the loading screen to like Rocket League or something, you know what I mean? Or even to 2K, you know what I mean? You're just choosing your teams and it's like, I want another one, you know what I mean? Just the melody is just so good. Like the melody of the hook is so catchy. And I think this one is definitely a sleeper on the project. This one was also released as a single as well, out of like the 4 tracks, Blitz, Hell Yeah, For Sure, and another one. So this one was super underrated. And I think this one's gonna be kind of, you know, deep in the track list. And I'm pretty much just digging this out of the track list and presenting it to you and saying this one is another one. This one could be a hit. I think this one could really be a hit, man. This one is just so good. And the hook is just so infectious. But yeah, another one, man, I recommend it heavily because this just really shows how good Sofaygo is and can be. You know what I mean? So maybe 2 years actually was worth the wait. For me personally, I'd like, man, I don't want to wait 2 years for an artist to drop an album. You know what I mean? But another one, I love this track, man. It's definitely on my playlist. The track Slip was definitely a major standout on this project, featuring Don Toliver. And Don Toliver is also signed to Cactus Jack, Sofaygo is. Cactus Jack is obviously Travis Scott's label, like I was saying earlier in this video. But yeah, I think this one definitely has mainstream appeal just with the 2 names attached to each other. You know what I mean? And I really hope this project can make Sofaygo mainstream. Like I enjoyed the track with Don Toliver. I think it could do well in playlists. Like it's definitely gonna be on Rap Caviar just with the 2 names. So you be the judge on this one because realistically, I think the label will probably push this one. Do I think it deserves to be the one that gets pushed? Not necessarily. Would I be mad if it gets pushed? No, I wouldn't, because it's a great song, you know what I mean? But I do think there's some sleepers on this project. And if you like this song on the project, then you'll definitely like every single other song on this project, man. So another standout on this track list is Took Off, featuring DJ Khaled and Gunna, and produced by Pharrell Williams. Pharrell Williams has also produced the hit song, in my personal opinion, Young Guts, featuring Lil Uzi Vert. So Pharrell Williams has definitely kind of touched in the whole trap market and stuff like that. And he's a very good executive producer. He just kind of brings the best out of these artists. And Sofaygo and Gunna definitely don't disappoint. And DJ Khaled with some vocals throughout the track, kind of just hyping up the track. And at first when I saw the track list of this, I'm like, why is DJ Khaled on this album? Like, what's the point of it? And I still kind of have a question, what's the point of DJ Khaled on this track? But I guess you could say he kind of complements it, kind of in the way that DJ Drama has been doing those Gangsta Girls mixtapes, whatever. So like, I'm disappointed on it. Could we use it on the track list? I don't really think so, but I'm not complaining, you know what I mean? And this also just shows how well Gunna is, just to be able to kind of adjust his whole swag to any sound. I'm not saying this isn't really Gunna's sound anyways, but I think the heavy reverb and melodic vocals in different pockets Gunna uses on this track complements Sofaygo so well. You know what I mean? That just shows how good Gunna is, you know what I mean? And this track will definitely be on a lot of playlists, including Rap Caviar and Next Up and stuff like that. So you never know. This song could maybe end up charting in the future. You know what I mean? But yeah, this is definitely a standout. Took Off by DJ Khaled, Sofaygo, produced by Pharrell Williams, man. Overall, this project, Pink Heartz by Sofaygo, is definitely fire. And I think a lot of people will definitely enjoy it. My personal opinion is I think more of a female audience will definitely enjoy this album a little bit better. I'll definitely say it's definitely more on the slower pace. So a lot of the OG Sofaygo fans that known him from the SoundCloud days, the Knock Knock days, may not be the biggest fan of this because Sofaygo has grew up. He straight up just grew up, like out of that, you know, kind of microwave, you know, just kind of copy and paste method of music. He's just definitely evolved into more of a mature artist. And I think it'll definitely appeal more to the females especially just because of how melodically and just slow the project is. Like the second half of the album was definitely a lot slower, like in the slower side, not as many bangers. But overall, I think this project by Sofaygo is a humongous W. Obviously, like I was saying, the only dud I would say about it is just a little bit slow. It's kind of like driving in the whip at night music. Not really the hype music, but there's definitely some bangers out there. If I were to rank this project out of 10, I would give it like a strong 7 out of 10 for my personal enjoyment. You know what I mean? But I don't know, give it a few more months. Some songs may pop off on TikTok. Songs may just grow on me a little bit more, like some of the slower songs. But overall, I think this album's gonna give you some good memories throughout your life with different situations, and I think it's a solid project. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about this whole just kind of review and me just breaking down Pink Heartz by Sofaygo album. Remember to like this video, subscribe, and let me know what you think, and tell me your favorite Sofaygo track in general and your top 3 favorite Sofaygo tracks on Pink Heartz.